Hey, student leaders in the marching band, it's Dwayne Huff, Band Leadership Seminars, Band Leadership Online, and band directors. If you were here, welcome as well. Today, we're going to talk about how to be an effective servant leader in the marching band. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you're watching this and you're not a student leader or a student leader in the marching band, tag somebody, share this with them, let them know about this. This is going to be free training. In exchange for that free training, guys, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you haven't already, follow me over at Instagram at Band Leadership. And if you're on YouTube and that's your thing, go over to youtube.com/band leadership. Follow me there, or subscribe to the channel, because I do these videos in this at this time of year. I'm going to be doing these consistently, hopefully every day, to serve you, the student leader in the marching band. Whether you're a brand new leader, an aspiring leader, somebody who wants to be a leader, or somebody who's returning as a leader. And I'm going to share some stuff with you here that's really going to serve and help you. This is going to be a pretty deep dive teach. So make sure all distractions are eliminated, and you might want to take some notes. You could always watch the replay, or you can be in the moment and just knock this out, right? However you want to do it's fine. If you're watching this on the replay, or if you're watching it live, give me a heart, give me a wow if you like it. Share it with somebody, like the page so when you see when I go live. But let's talk about how to be an effective servant leader. Now, this is not just for band students. This will work for choir, this will work for orchestra. This will work. I've worked with FBLA, 4-H, DECA, HOSA. I've worked with all the different organizations, student organizations I can think of right now, and Key Club, the whole nine. So I do this there too. So just if there's a student leader that you think would benefit from having this teach, please don't hesitate to reach out to them. The other thing I'm going to say is tag your band director. I've been able to serve for the last 7 years over 5,000 band programs through either being live or through my online resources or through these free videos. But there's still people out there who don't know about the work that I do. And if you don't know about the work that I do, again, my name is Dwayne Huff, Band Leadership Seminars. I travel the country working with high school and college band programs, helping them build team and develop their leaders in their band room. And so that's something that I do. And then a couple years back, it turned into an online course. I also have that resource. So if your band director's not familiar, tag them in this or send them to bandleadershipseminars.com so they can learn more about working with me, and hopefully I can come out and work with you guys at some point. How to be an effective servant leader. So I've got a couple things right here we're going to talk about, right? But I kind of want to set the tone for why servant leadership in the band versus authoritarian or dictator style leadership. Because if you've been a leader for any amount of time, you know that doesn't go very well very quickly. And if you hear noise in the background, if it's Sunday, happy Sunday, by the way. My kids are all over the place, and who knows what's going to go on. I've asked them to be quiet. They promised, but well, we'll see how that goes. I got a 5-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 9-year-old, right? And so if you're a teenager watching, it's like, damn, he's old, right? but it is what it is. So if you hear background noise, if you have any questions about this topic that we're going to talk about, feel free to drop them in the comments. Or any suggestions, ideas, or experiences that you have as a student leader that would help and serve other student leaders. And if you're a band director watching this, feel free to jump in here into the conversation and add your knowledge, wisdom, and experience that will serve and help leaders, right? Because we're all in this together, helping the student leaders to get stronger and more effective for your band programs. And what I hear time and time again from band directors, student leaders, is that they don't want you to be dictatorial, pushy, mean, and confrontational with your peers. That makes for drama and rehearsals, and nobody benefits from that, right? And there's absolutely no reason to do this. I was having this conversation with a band director the other day, and he said, Dwayne, talk about the difference between having a discipline-based leadership program where if you don't do the right thing, you're doing push-ups, you're doing laps and things like that, and one that's a little more positive and uplifting. And so I shot that video, and if you scroll down this page, you'll see that video where I talked to the students about it and I talked to band directors about it, but I'm not going to spend time doing that here. My wife's right there. Hey, baby. Hi. All right. So anyway, so how to be an effective student leader, and why effective and a servant leader, and why servant leadership is important in band. Because here's the thing: the only person in the band program with authority is the band director and the staff that the band director gives authority to. Now, you may have authority to conduct rehearsals, run rehearsals, run sectionals. You might even be able to run the band rehearsals if you're the drum major. And so you get certain rights and authority, but at the end of the day, you don't have authority over anybody. And if you walk around chest thumping, look at me, you do this, that's going to end badly for you. And if it hasn't already, it will, and you'll see that. But there's a better way. It's called servant leadership. Here's what that means. It means that leadership is not about you. Thanks for the heart. Somebody gave me a heart there. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So cool. My glasses. I do not like my glasses. And I can't see anything unless I have them on, right? So servant leadership. Leadership is not about you. It's not about me, right? If I'm the leader, 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major in the band, by the way, for those of you who don't know me. That's my credibility. That's where I come from. I've never been an educator. There's great people out there like Dr. Tim. If you haven't seen Dr. Tim, oh my God, go see Dr. Tim and then come watch me, right? Because I'm going to share with you step-by-step, deep dive. Nobody else is doing the free training that I do to serve you free of charge. And all I ask, follow me at Instagram at Band Leadership and let some other people know about me, right? But servant leadership is about when I show up in the band, there's an old saying that he amongst you who's going to be the greatest needs to be the servant of all. And that's what this is about. And here's the thing. Whenever you show up to band, from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave, first and foremost, you're there to help the band or to carry out their vision, their goal, their dream of what that show and what that music is going to do. That's job one. But then you have to understand that you, in essence, work for not only the band director, but you work for every person that's in that band, no matter what section you're in. It's about you serving them. In fact, when you get into college, there's actually a service fraternity called Kappa Kappa Psi, and their whole reason for existing is to move equipment, raise funds, make sure the water's in place, make sure the field's done, make sure everything that needs to be done for that program is paid for, fundraised, executed, and worked by students. And the precursor of that is you as a student leader. So when you sign up for leadership, I don't know if you knew this or not, but you signed up to be a workhorse for that band. And many times you're not going to be appreciated. You're not going to be liked. You're going to be judged. You're going to be picked on. You're going to be alienated. Your friends aren't going to want to talk to you anymore. Extreme scenarios, right? But the reward is that you're going to get to see a program really grow, really flourish, and really develop because you're there humbly serving, giving, helping. Now, there's going to be times where you get to share, you get to tell, you get to direct, and you get to tell your peers or ask your peers or lead your peers in a certain direction, right? And that's what we're going to talk about here, how to do that effectively so it doesn't backfire on you and you can do it the right way, right? I'm really passionate about this, guys. I grew up in band. I started playing the saxophone players, whenever I was 11 years old, and music just became part of my life. And then whenever I transitioned in high school, I was transplanted to a brand new school in a different city. And thank goodness for the band because it was a saving grace for me. And it kept me in. First 3 days in band, I wanted to quit. And it was the student leaders in the band who approached me and encouraged me and said, hey, man, keep coming back. You're a great part of this team. We love you. It's awesome. You're amazing. Please come back. I don't know if they were blowing smoke, but they kept me around. And here I am today. 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major. Don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you. This is not what I do. This is who I am. And I promised myself after spending 2 summers with Dr. Tim, 2 summers with George Parks, Drum Major Academy founder, 2 summers with another gentleman by the name of Tom Leslie on the college level. He's from UNLV. This became something that I said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to give back to student leaders just like me to make it easier and better for them as they go on this journey so they don't have a miserable experience like in some cases I did. Sometimes it was phenomenal. Sometimes it was absolutely miserable. And I want you to have a consistent experience. So it starts with servant leadership. I am the servant of everybody in the band. It's not about me. It's not about a title. It's not about a position. It's not about pushing people around. It's about serving those people. Literally serving. Think for a second. What does serving mean, Dwayne? Well, imagine for a second. Imagine you're cooking food. You have a plate of food. Your people don't get up and come serve their own food. You serve their food. You bring them the dishes. You pick it up. You throw it in the trash. You clean up. Now that's just an example of servant leadership. Same thing happens in band. Whenever the field needs to be done, you make it happen, or you coordinate it, or you gather the troops to do it. Or if water needs to be put out, either you do it or you guide and lead people to do it. But be willing to do that work yourself. Work harder than anybody else, practice harder than anybody else, show up with a better attitude than anybody else, and be more consistent, setting an example to be followed. That's servant leadership. Right? I am literally the servant of all. Well, Dwayne, I don't like that. Well, if you're not a leader, good. You just found out that's not good for you. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If somebody would have told me, hey, Dwayne, this is what leadership is before I took that leadership position, I'd have been like, you can keep that. I mean, you can keep that. But what I found was over the years, being able to see band programs grow, develop, strengthen as a team, win competitions, and have just an extraordinary set of memories leaving high school and going to the rest of life. Looking back, that was the reward. And there'll be plenty of rewards along the way. Don't let me paint this as doom and gloom. You're going to have a lot of fun. If you do this right, and the stuff that we're going to talk about, it's going to make your leadership life extraordinary and exciting, even in the midst of serving, maybe not even being appreciated, recognized for what you do. And you'll see that at the end of this. So stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram at Band Leadership. If you haven't, youtube.com, subscribe to the channel. You'll see when I go live sometimes on YouTube, and you'll get all the videos that I put forth. Cool. So let's jump in here without further ado. Again, tag your band director or send this to them so they're aware of some of the things that I can do for your program, both free of charge, and I go out live to do live events at schools. July is booked right now. June and August and September still have some availability, so send this over to your band director. There's actually a link here if you're watching the replay called 2dayclinic.com. I've taken my 1-day, full-day seminar and I've turned it into a 2-day event for leaders. Really exciting. Get your band director to check that out. Right, so the first thing is this. How to be an effective servant leader, number one. I talk about this in a lot of my videos because it's so important as a foundation if you're going to be effective as a servant leader. Now here's two things. In this first one here, you need to do two things. Number one, you need to make connections with every single possible person you can make it with, make the connections with in your band. And what I mean by that is that if there's someone you don't hang out with, someone you don't know, somebody who's not a part of your clique, somebody who's across the band that you never talked to, somebody who came in this year and you never even spent time talking to them because it was a little, you never had the opportunity. You need to make connections with every single person in that band. I'm going to talk about how to do that here in a second. But the first thing you need to do is you need to connect with as many people as you possibly can. And then once you've connected with those people, you need to build relationships with those people. And I don't mean in text groups. I don't mean via social media. I don't mean I don't mean anything digital. Those are important. I understand and I get that. But beyond that, you need to make face-to-face, hand-to-hand, shoulder-to-shoulder, personal connections with your peers. Why? Because what happens with the human mind is this, your brain, for example, let's say that this is your brain, and let's say that this is the base of your brain. That's called the fight or flight or reptilian brain. It means it's instinctual. If you get in trouble, if you're getting threatened, boom, you run, whatever you do, or you fight or flight, flee, right? That's an instinctual thing. That's the part of the brain that works there. In the center of the brain, if I roll my thumb over in the center of the brain, it's called the amygdala. And it's in a part of the limbic system. The amygdala is actually that part of that fight or flight, but the limbic system is the emotional center of the brain. It doesn't understand rhyme, reason, words, statistics, facts, numbers. It doesn't understand anything except for how you feel. Your gut instinct. You know, if you've ever been in a room, if you've ever met somebody, in a minute you met them, you knew you were going to be friends. That happened here. If you've ever met somebody and said, we were never going to be friends, that happened here. It's an emotional thing. And then this part, the cerebral cortex, is where logic, facts, statistics are all processed and made sense of. And people make decisions emotionally. People make decisions if they like you, if they don't like you, if they trust you, if they want to follow, if they're not going to follow you. Right here. And then they justify it here. Now, the reason I wanted to come back and serve you guys to give you the right stuff to be able to be effective student leaders is because there's another part of the brain right here. It's called the prefrontal cortex. You do not have it. You will not have it till you're 23, 24 years old, which means bad things in some cases. You're going to be asked to make decisions, to lead as a servant, to do certain things with consequences, good, bad, and ugly, that you don't have the capacity to make, right? Because that part of your brain has not been formed. This is responsible for you saying, okay, I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to say this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And here's the consequence both today, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. You don't have that ability. It's just not physically possible or mentally possible, right? And so the things I'm going to share with you even if you don't understand them. They've been proven, not just for me, they've been proven for thousands of years, and they're not going to change because they're deep-rooted psychological principles, laws, and triggers. But if you'll take what I'm going to show you right now, you'll absorb it, you'll learn it, and you'll say, I'm going to try it and apply it. Even if you don't understand it, you'll see the results of it. And that's how I've been able to help students make their life as leaders better, more intentional. Because if you even don't understand what I'm going to teach you here, follow it, and I promise you. And when you do, and it works out for you, I want you to circle back to this video, drop it in the comments. Hey, I tried what you did. Oh my God. Right? And if you have any questions, drop them here. I answer them all. Or if you don't want to, go to YouTube and then comment on one of the videos that you see there. You'll see I come back and answer videos. I answer questions, all me. I'm here to serve you. I'm doing this for free. And all I ask in response, follow me at Band Leadership on Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your band director about me. I've served over 5,000 band programs over the last 7 years, and I'm honored to do that, but there's more out there, and I want to serve those bands. Tag your band director, send this to your band director, and tell them to go to bandleadershipseminars.com. Or if you're a band director watching this, 2dayclinic.com. By the way, band directors, you go over there and you say, hey, Dwayne, I want to work with you. Tell me you saw this video. I'll take $500 off of the price to bring me in, and I'll give you $500 of value in my band leadership online course. $1,000 just to say you saw this video and that you want to work with me. Check it out. So the first thing we have to do is make connections and then build relationships, because when we make connections and build those relationships, we hit here all day long and every day. Before the walls can come up, before the walls can go down, it's our way of building trust with the people that we have. So we have to build connection and we have to build relationships. So how do you do this? I have a video that talks about how we're wired, differently. Have you ever noticed that you don't think the way some people think, receive information, process information, like to do things, like to approach things that's completely different than your peers, right? Well, there's a reason, because we're all wired differently. I'll break it down for you real simple. There's 4 different types of wirings, but they're all kind of mixed up together. But here's the extremes. There's the dominant type personality. I use the example of, and this is not a political thing, I've been doing this for 7 years. And so the perfect example of dominant type personalities, extreme dominant type personalities, excuse me, there's 3 of them actually. If you've ever watched The Apprentice, The Apprentice, Donald Trump before he became president. So Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, so I don't care what political opinion you have, they're both the same. And then Kitchen Nightmares or Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay. And if you think about those people, they're dominant, they're demanding, they're dictatorial, they're decisive. Sometimes they lean on the side of boastful and arrogant. Sometimes they're direct. I mean, they talk very direct. All three of them, right? But the beautiful thing about those people is that they're goal-driven, goal-oriented. If you have one of those people on your team, you give them something and say, this is what we need to accomplish, they're going to accomplish it. We need those people on our team. Then you have the influencer type personalities. If you're an Alvin and the Chipmunk, if you ever watched that growing up, that's Alvin. If you're a Big Bang Theory fan, this is Penny and Wallowitz. They're the life of the party. They're the center of attention. They don't like to be left alone. They want to be with people. They love to talk to people. They love to listen. No, they love to talk to people. And they talk 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 and they tell stories and they have fun, and they're very creative type people, right? And they annoy some people that are not like that. But we need them because they're the life of the party. They're center of attention. If you lead these people and you have something to accomplish and it's a hard task, bring them in. They will make it fun. They will make your show more fun. They will make your band program more fun. And so we need those people, right? Just like we need the dominants. And then you have the analytical types. These people generally grow up to be accountants and engineers and very process and detail-oriented people. They ask tons of questions. They're not in a hurry. They want to make sure all the things are in place and everything is perfect before they take action. Do you know those people? Are you one of those people? Do those people drive you crazy? We need those people because they keep us centered. They keep us on track. They keep us from making crazy mistakes or taking big risks. And we need those people in our band. They're the precision factor. They're the accuracy factor. They're the quality factor. And we need those people, right? And then finally, you have the analyticals. If you're out in the Chipmunks, this is let me go back to the analytical. The analyticals are the Sheldon Coopers of the world, Simon and Theodore. And then The amiables is the last one. They are the Theodores of the world. They are the Kuthapalis and the Leonards of the world. They're kind, they're patient, they're giving, they're serving by nature. They want everybody to get along. They hate conflict. They want the peace. They fight for the peace. Not really fight, but they pine for peace. They want everybody to be happy. Many times they're kind of mother hen like if they're girls, and if they're guys, they try to keep a peace, like Leonard, right? Anyway, so connecting with people, understanding how we're wired, and understanding how people are different, the dominant, the influencer, the analytical, and the amiable in our band, and being able to identify those people helps us to connect with them where they are. That's the biggest thing we have to learn as leaders. It is no longer acceptable for me to expect all these different people and peers to adjust to me and connect with me. I have to be the one that adjusts to them. And once I do, and I connect with them where they are, now I build relationship. What kind of relationships do you build? Personal relationships. Band aside, agenda aside. Well, not necessarily band aside, because you guys love band, I love band, but what do they do outside of band for fun? What do they do when they're not in band? What do they do just in their everyday life? What do they like? What do they want? What do they need? What do they expect? What do they love? Where do they spend their time? Who do they spend their time with? Knowing who they are, look and see here. If you're watching on the replay and you're loving this, give it a heart. Give it a wow, share it with your band director, share it with another student leader. This is not just for band leadership. This is for choir, for orchestra, for every student organization on campus, because what I'm talking about here, leadership is leadership. It's consistent. The principles are there. But when we build relationships, we have to make it centered on the people, not centered on an agenda. Because I'm going to show you why. Well, how do you do that? Spend time. Now watch this. Spend time where they are. What do I mean by that? You can't expect somebody to come out of their comfort zone to come hang out with you or with your people or with your clique at first. You have to meet them where they are, which means you have to leave your comfort zone to step out and connect with them and build relationship. Go hang out where they hang out. Go spend time around where they would normally be. Hey, can I sit with you at lunch? Hey, hey, I'm going to be studying the same thing. Can we study together? Hey, I'm pretty good in that subject. Can I be of assistance? Whatever. Go hang out where they are. And instead of telling them all about you, there's an old saying that says you can get more people interested in you in 2 hours by first being genuinely interested in them than you can in 2 years trying to get them interested in you. That's what we do as human beings. We try to get people, we try to impress people. Be impressed by people. Somebody told me, treat famous people like they're average, normal people, and treat normal, average people like they're famous. And if you get in the habit of doing that, your leadership ability is going to go through the roof. People are going to flock to you. People are going to love you. Because when you can make your conversations and your focus about others instead of yourself and make them feel like the most important people in the room, people can't help it. You go straight here, the walls come down, they will be eating out of the palm of your hand. I kid you not, try it. Don't manipulate it, but try it. If you guys are enjoying this and you're getting some value from it, give me a thumbs up. No, give me a heart. Give me a wow, right? Drop a comment or a question if you have one. I answer them all. And go over to Instagram. @Band Leadership. Tell your band director about me. Share this with them. bandleadershipseminars.com, band directors, 2dayclinic.com. Check that out. All right, so check it out. Spend time where they are. And again, where do they spend their time? Where do they spend their money? Where do they spend their days, their evenings? What do they think about? What do they do? What are their hobbies? What are their fascinations? What makes them cry? What makes them happy? What makes them sad? Just listen. Spend 90% of your time listening, 1% asking a great question, and then exchange as necessary, but don't be one. Imagine for a second you have a ball of conversation and you just hand it over to the other person and say, here, and you patiently just listen and wait. The amiable personalities I was telling you about are extraordinary at doing that. They're great listeners. So if you're not a great listener, get around an amiable, watch what they do, and then just do what they do. Make friends with those people too. Make friends with all the different kinds, but connect, build relationships where they are, Listen to what they need, what they want. They would say, ask them, say, hey, what brought you to marching band? How'd you start playing the instrument? What do you love most? And just listen. And you might find some connections and common ground there. Always establish those connections and common ground, right? Servant leadership, make a connection, build a relationship. Number 2, where are we building relations up? Trust, respect. How? Several ways. One is consistency. Talk about that in a second. Example, attitude, follow through. Build relationships of trust and respect. How do you do it? Through consistency, example, attitude, and follow through. The other way to build relationships of trust is respect is to give trust even before it is earned. I know, I get it, I understand. You'll get taken advantage of, people will talk about you, people will take advantage of your niceness and kindness, but do it anyway. Because when you do, the people who are genuine, who are real, will respect that and give the trust right back to you. Respect, what's the best way to get respect? Give respect. Anything you want. There's no saying that says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll inevitably get what you want. And there's something called the law of the harvest. What you sow, you reap at a much later time. The law of reciprocation. Anytime you give, it compels other people to want to give back. Not everybody. Some people are numb to it. But even if it doesn't come back from them, it'll come back, and that activates something called the law of circulation. As long as you continue to give, doesn't matter where you give, it's going to circle back to you. Maybe directly, maybe from somewhere else. But let go of trying to get back. Just give. Never give to get something in return, but always give so that you activate that law of circulation, and you'll inevitably get the things that you need, want, and expect because of what you're doing and putting out there. The minute you stop giving, circulation cuts off, and it stops happening for you, right? And that's not going to flow as a leader, right? But give trust, give respect, consistency. This is a big one for me. How are you showing up every single day? Is your attitude one day amazing, fun to be around? Do you know there's people that whenever you, have you ever seen these people? There's certain people when they walk in the band room, the whole place lights up and it's like, wow, that person's here. You know those people? Right. Do you know those people that whenever they leave the band room, the whole place lights up? Right? So don't be that guy. My wife thought that was funny. Anyway.
I was in band too.
Yeah, she was in band too. She gets it. Anyway, so be that person. So consistency. How do you show up? What's your attitude? What's the example you're setting? How are you following through on your promises and commitments? Are you practicing consistently? There's an old saying in band, you've probably heard it before. It says, if you miss a day of practice, nobody notices. If you miss 2 days of practice, you notice. If you miss 3, your band director notices. If you miss 4, everybody is going to notice, whether you like it or not. Be the example and set the benchmark, set the expectation of everything, how you behave in rehearsal, how you show up, your attitude, the example you set, the follow through, and your band director will appreciate that. The other thing the band directors appreciate is initiative. That means doing the right thing that needs to be done without being told to do it. Well, Dwayne, what is that? Look around your band room from the moment you walk in to the time you leave, and look around all the things that need to be done. The chairs need to be picked up. The stands need to be picked up. Does the water need to be got for rehearsal? Does the music need to be laid out? Do there need to be pencils on every stand? Does the instrument room need to be cleaned? Does the uniform room need to be aligned? Well, that's not my job. It is now. You're a leader. You're a servant. No more excuses. And I'm giving you a little tough love right now, and you might be thinking this leadership thing ain't much fun. It's rewarding. 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major. You get some reward from it, okay? And you get some privileges and advantages as well, but not if you're not consistent. Trust and respect has to be earned. Consistency is one of the ways to do it. The example you set consistently is going to get you the respect and trust. The attitude that you show up with. What is attitude? Well, it's when they walk in and have a bad attitude. Yeah, it's that. But when somebody walks in with a great attitude, it's also that. Let's break it down for a second. Attitude comes to 3 things. Number 1, what we see. Person walks in a room, you can tell what their attitude is immediately. Are they smiling? Are they frowning? Do they look like they've been weaned on a pickle? That's what winged on a pickle looks. You know, they come in with that sour attitude. It's what we see is part of the attitude. In fact, it accounts for 55% of what we trust, believe, and perceive as attitude. UCLA 1980, Dr. Albert Mehrabian. Look it up. 55% is what we see. 38% is how somebody says what they say. I can tell you, hey, man, that was a great job. Keep that up. I'm proud of you. Or I can say, hey, man, that was a great job. Keep that up. I'm proud of you. What changed? Not the words, because the words only account for 7%. Does that mean words are not important? No. It means that how I say what I say and what you see when I say it goes into what you trust, believe, and perceive as my attitude. What is your attitude? Because if you're in a bad mood or in a bad attitude, if you will simply take a deep breath, put a smile on your face, and walk in the room, don't say a word, people will never know you have a bad attitude. And that is the best line of defense whenever you're in a bad mood. Show up consistently. And my question is, how do you want to show up? What's your brand? What do you want people to think of when they see you? I ask this, and if you want to drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear it. But I ask students, I'll go and do a live event. I do 8-hour seminars, and I'll go in there, and after about the third hour of working and teaching and doing this live, I'll ask the students, I'll say, okay, guys, we'll talk about this thing, the visual, the verbal, and the vocal, 55%, 38%, and 7% being attitude and what we trust and believe. I'll say, look, you met me 3 hours ago. You really don't know me, do you? No. But I bet you have a perception of my attitude. What is that perception? Give me some descriptors, good, bad, or ugly. Never comes back ugly. It always comes back. And I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments after only seeing me for a little time here. They'll say things like positive, like upbeat, like motivational, like optimistic, like charged, like energized, right? That's what I want to put out. But the good thing is if you could have gone back to high school when I was 15 years old, sitting where you are, I was the same way. Full of energy, full throttle, great attitude. Now I had my moments and emotional, but I literally was a very optimistic person. I believed in the best of the best of the best, right? If you would have put me in a room full of horse poop, I'd have said, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere, right? That's the kind of spirit and attitude I had. And I was the kind of person that when you walked in the room, the place lit up because I wanted to be. What do you want to be as a student leader? You get to decide, and you get to show up every day consistently so people trust and respect that by your example, your follow-up, your follow-through, and your dedication, right? So I wanted to do this because I talk at a high level sometimes about this stuff, but I want to say, okay, great. Let's break it down here. How do you earn trust and respect? How do you build connection and relationship? And I told you. The other thing I would give you is this. I use the metaphor. There's a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Don't recommend that you read it. It's a great book if you want to read it. If you're a reader, it's about people and it's about how to effectively be. Anyway, there's a notion known as the emotional bank account. And if you have a bank account or checking account, this is going to make sense. If you don't, and you don't know that whole piece, imagine this for a second. Imagine a bucket, an empty bucket, okay? Or a bank account, right? The more that you put water into that bucket, the higher it gets. So if you get thirsty, if you ever have to pull some out, you have some to pull through. But if you keep pulling from it, pull it from it, pull it from it, pull it from it, and you don't, eventually you're going to get thirsty. You're not going to have any water, and you're not going to have anything to drink. Simple metaphor, I get it, but follow me here. The emotional bank or the bank account, if you put money in, 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 and then you go to make a purchase, it comes down a little bit, no big deal. You put more money in, put more money in, make a purchase. But if you keep purchasing and purchasing and purchasing and purchasing and purchasing, what's going to happen? Yeah, bankruptcy or nasty letters and $35 fees from your bank. Same thing happens with your peers. If I'm building connection and relationship and I'm constantly giving, depositing, offering, helping, serving, loving, caring, giving to my peers, uplifting, encouraging, supporting, helping, that emotional bank account goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And so in a rehearsal or in a competition or whenever things get crazy and heated on the field or in the band room and I yell at somebody, yeah, it depletes, but there's so much emotional capital in there. They know my heart. They trust me. they realize I'm having a bad day, or they realize they were out of line, you haven't robbed their emotional bank account. But if you keep doing it, eventually they're going to shut you out, or worse. So you have to constantly be building the relationships of connection, trust, respect, and all the things that we talked about. So again, I hope this served. It did. Follow me over at Instagram at Band Leadership. Tell your band director about me. I've served over 5,000 bands in the last 7 years with live events, online course, digital stuff, free stuff. But I'm still young at this, so to speak. I'm still new at this. 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major, never been band director. Honor the band directors for all they do. But more importantly, I'm committed to you, the student leader, to help you free of charge so you can have an effective experience. And all I ask you to do is help me spread this message. Give me a heart. Give me a wow. Share this with your band director. Tag them. Send them over to bandleadershipseminars.com, and there's a link somewhere in here, 2dayclinic.com. The band directors will be interested in that. And band directors, if you're watching this, if you want to work with me live after you see the 2-day clinic thing, just tell me you saw this video. I'll give you $500 off the price of bringing me in to work with you. And I will give you my online course, which is $500 free of charge after I come in and work with you. That's $1,000 of value. 2dayclinic.com. Again, leave questions, share this with somebody. This is not just about band leadership, though I wanted to send it there because the page is Band Leadership Seminars. Speaking of which, if you haven't liked it, you'll see when I go live. YouTube.com/band leadership. Subscribe and you'll see all the new stuff that I put forth, but stay tuned. I'm doing this for free, right? To serve you. So take advantage of it, right? I'm gonna put this particular video, I think, in the online course. So they have it there as well. Because I think it's so important of a message, right? And if there's anything else you need to know, questions that you have, hey, how do I do this? Hey, what if this happens? Hey, I tried this and it didn't work. Those questions come at me all the time, and I answer them. Scroll down on the page, you'll see some of those answers. This can be a resource for you, right? But let me know what you need, and I will meet you where you are and serve you. Again, Dwayne Huff, Band Leadership Seminars. Remember, you can inspire superior performance, but it starts with being a servant leader, setting a great example, make connections and relationships, build trust, build respect by your example, by your consistency, by the follow through and the example you set. I always say, set such a great example that the people around you, when they don't follow the example you set, they feel silly, they feel uncomfortable, and they step up to your level of leadership, attitude, and service. Have a great day, guys. Have a great Sunday. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.